Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host, Christopher Mount Curtis Bone, on this evening edition of Fire for Liberty, 22nd of July, 2017. I wanted to make this a very straight to the point. I've already done the edition of Imagination times Spirit, Truth, Power of Truth equals freedom plus love, and that's very grand. Ultimately, still an illumination of the fire of true knowledge, but it's also still still acceleration, of course, which is very grand and important, but also want to do this quick episode just to recognize that this is also the still accelerated transition, but this, of course, like I said, is, I can still do these episodes regardless. I can still do these broadcasts and these editions, editions of Fire of Liberty and Paradise on Earth, and multi-creationalistical fruition, multi-creationalistical skill. And so that's that's a very cool thing that I just did, is a symbiotic acceleration advancement. So that's what's very spectacular, which is not only what is going on, what has been going on, but what is in the nature, form, and even the most foundationalistical to the most, of course, enlightened and celestial. So, this is a grand, positive, accelerated transition of transformational, accelerated, transformational, transitional, super accelerated. I'm really reiterating that because, superluminous travel, transport, air, land, and sea. Yes, things are about to change, even greater. It is even going to be even more, more multi-creationalistical expansion in terms of freedom and the libertination that is in sync and at the same time in syncing with the type of bioluminescent, biochemistric connection of that strangular spiritual enhancement, evolution, advancement, and the psychic abilities that are of course accelerating that entire process. So this is a grand celebration, and also a grand exclamation, and also grand that form. The decoration is a good word to use, but kind of just a life. If this is living, this is. It's like an abundance form of. This is an abundance form of super luminescence and never-ending prosperity when it comes to the limitlessness of our psychic nature. So that's a grand beginning, a grand bond, which ultimately, it allows us to psychically expand into super awesome realms, which, once again, it's a see, it's not necessarily like a cushion, because it's an even more mature base than that. It's because it's not survival either. It's thrival mode in a state of, inner peace and calmness centered, combined with just that ultimate crystal clarity of psychic wisdom, which is like it's ultimately, because it is eternal, it's like a never-ending exciting journey, because what's always being discovered is self-discovery. For example, is one of the self-discoveries is that psychic nature, is that that intuition, that telepathical nature, that telekinesis, all of them, pyrokinesis, hydrokinesis. I've mentioned it many times before. It's been done many different times. So very fantastical nature, so that's a very accelerated transition, and then of course it's going to be even faster, especially at superluminous. Now what's going to be made, or some of the designs are, for example, quote, sneak peek, unquote, is the air-based superluminescent travel, maybe even a new, this is a term, a new multi-creationalistical term of skill and format is the sub-super luminescent travel. And there's super sub luminescent travel in air with those models. And then, they could be, it's not only, there's many more different shapes now. Like there can be like the teardrop shaped craft, or the craft that's made by it's like diamond shaped. There's triangular shaped, isosceles, and of course teardrop, as I mentioned, circular, sphere, many spheres, biospheres, for example, and of course various different types of shapes. That's just with, wow, there's craftsmanship. There's so many modifications that already exist and have existed, for example, for thousands, hundreds of thousands, and some of them even millions of years. But I'm digressing. Onto water, same type of new models. Some may even mimic the type of one, I guess we can call it Atlantean, and two, the mammalian, and also the ocean, sea life forms that are there, sea life forms, sea creatures, sea bodies, marine life forms, and of course subtropospheric and super bedrock, I guess we can call it, transportation in terms of superluminescence on the surface, or even also in a train form. Okay, this is your host. Christopher Curtis Bone, on this evening edition of Fire for Liberty, July 22nd, 2017, co-creating paradise throughout the entire world. Love you all. And this is just a manifestation acceleration in a bioluminescent form, which also is a very important segue to superluminescence. Once again, still doing more of the other episodes, the other broadcasts, which is still more. Regardless, there's always going to be spiritual evolution led by me. So it's just, it's going to be blind. I really pick up the pace. Even those are and we're so with paradisical evolution in a multi-creationalistical, super luminescent, spiritual, advancedical, psychic, beneficial in not only now in talent and in psychic nature, talent, skill, and psychic. So talent, skill, psychic abilities are now accelerated. Love you all.